Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. Thought today I would do a update video on my IPL journey. I last did a video probably about 2 months ago where I first got my IPL device, talked you through it, I did some first impressions, and then I did a 6-week review of how I was getting on with that. So I'll link that up here if you haven't watched that already. And I had a couple of comments on there with a few questions. I've had a couple of people DMing me with a couple of questions and just generally wanting to know, does it work? Like, do you have no hair left? And how are you getting on with it, basically? So I thought I would do a really quick video today and chat through with you how I found it and the pain levels and things like that. Just quickly, if you didn't see my last video, this is the IPL device that I've been using. So it is the Braun Silk Expert Pro 5. I'll link that down in the description box for the exact model that I've got, because I know there's a couple of different ones. This one is the one in this case. That I know there's one that's like £50 more expensive and it comes in a bougier case. Completely useless, that everything else inside is exactly the same. So yeah, I've gone for the plain case, and mine has the 2 heads on. So this one's the sensitive precision head and this one's the standard head. And actually I only use the standard head. It's a bit wider, and the precision head is supposed to be for smaller areas. I might use that on my face. I'll come on to that in a bit, but I might use that on my face. And I think you're supposed to use it for bikini, but I just use this one and I get on okay with it. So yeah, that's the kit that I've been using. I'm at the 14-week point, so I've been doing it every single week for 14 weeks now. They say in the guidance that you should start seeing results in 4 to 12 weeks. 4 weeks, I definitely hadn't seen enough results to have left it there. I think they're living in a dream world for that. The 12-week point, I was like, oh, so close, but there was a couple of areas that I thought needed a couple more sessions. So I'm have done a couple more to take me to 14 weeks, and now, especially on my legs, I'm going to be moving on to the, I think, 3 weeks rolling maintenance sort of routine with that. Underarms bikini line, I'm going to do a couple more and then go on to the sort of 3 weekly, maybe a monthly, depending on how I get on, maintenance routine. So, update, how have I been getting on with it? The long and short of it is I love it. Really getting on with it well. I've noticed really good results generally all over. As I mentioned in my last video, I've only been using it on my legs, underarms and bikini, and also my toes. And then because you're not able to use it when you've been naturally tanning, I will do potentially my arms. I'm going to see how I feel about doing my arms. It's not high on my priority list, to be honest. As soon as I get a tan, my arm hair goes a lot lighter anyway. So we'll see in the winter months whether it does bother me to have slightly darker arm hair, and I might treat them then. But I'll definitely be doing my top lip as soon as the sun sort of goes away. In England, it's not going to be long before that happens anyway. So in terms of the hair regrowth and where I'm at with that, on my legs, I'm really happy with them. My legs were the biggest sort of concern for me in terms of throwing on a summer dress, realising that my legs weren't ready and having to run and shower and shave, and I just hated it. And that is just asking for like razor burn and cuts and ingrown hairs and things. I just hated it, and especially for my move to Australia, I definitely didn't want to have to be shaving everywhere sort of every 2 days, because for me that just gives me so many ingrown hairs and issues, and I find the whole process really boring as well, and yeah, didn't want to do it. So on my legs especially, the hair is really so I'm a week since shaving now. Obviously you shave first and then do the IPL afterwards. On my legs, they are so very nearly completely hairless, and I mean, I'm fine with them exactly as they are. You can't see them unless you're like really close to my legs. You can't see the hair. There was one area which I remember mentioning in my last video, which was like the tops of my shins, where that was it's the most bony sort of. I've got a really prominent bone there, and I was finding it really hard to go along the sort of edge of the bone. So it was a lot sorer and harder to position the actual laser. So when you do it, you've got to have both of these side lights flat on the skin. And if you imagine if you've got a bony bit of shin, then both sides of it can't make contact with the skin. So then I was having to put it on its side, but then imagining this is my shin bone, then I'm going up and sort of trying to get that whole area, and there was just always the odd bit. So in the last couple of treatments, literally the last probably 3, I've gone sort of up and down that area a couple of times, being really, really slow and careful with it, and sort of pulled the skin taut, and that has just completely solved it, and the hair's pretty much gone now, and that's sort of caught up with the rest of my leg hair. So something to bear in mind. I think that is a negative to obviously the brightness of it, and I've not got myself any glasses. I know I said that I was going to, but it means that I don't look at it when I'm actually doing the laser. So I'm looking away and sort of trying to go in a straight line, but I'm sure I probably move it side to side. So that's probably the only downside that I've had. So yeah, my underarms, it's a bit random and a bit patchy. I've been trying to work out what it is that I'm doing wrong, because it probably is user error where I'm missing certain bits, but because there's no sort of guide or anything, it doesn't make your skin red, you can't see where the light has hit, you can't see the areas you've missed. So I've been taking more care to sort of go, I do my armpits in 3 lines now, so I sort of go around that side, and then turn it on its side. So round like that, then turn it on its side and go down like that. And it is working, but again, as I say, slower. So I'm going to do, I think, 2 more sessions, doing it weekly, and then I'll go on to the maintenance. It's not the end of the world to have to shave just my underarm twice a week. That doesn't bother me. It's better than having to do it every other day, and in between the sessions then it's growing back a lot slower, so it doesn't bother me. We'll see how I feel when I'm in Australia and whether I think that I need to sort of amp it up a bit more or not. I don't know yet. And then finally the area that I did was the bikini area, which is a bit of a funny one. If you know me and think that I would feel awkward about you watching this bit, please flick off. Left this till last because people get bored with all of the other chats. But so with the bikini area, I'm mostly really impressed with the results, because it's obviously thicker hair down there. You'd expect it to work a lot slower, and it did work slower than my legs, but I'm still really impressed with the results that I've seen. But it's weird how it's worked. So if you imagine it as a triangle and split that triangle into 3 sort of horizontally, the top third and the bottom third, the hair's like completely gone pretty much. I've got like the odd hair coming through, which, because it's darker and thicker, you can see it. But that's usually towards the end of the week anyway, when I'll be due another IPL session. So that doesn't really bother me, and it's better than having to keep on top of shaving and how it was before. But then that middle third just hasn't been responding as well to the IPL, and I cannot work out why. I didn't know if it was because that's a bit more sensitive, so potentially I avoid that area. I don't know what it is. So I've just been taking extra care to make sure that I'm going over, like going really slowly. I do the method where you hold down the button and then like track it down, and then it goes like pew, 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 pew. But instead, where in these areas where I've not been seeing the results, I put it on, stamp, put it on, and then keep doing it like that, which tends to work quite a bit better. And yeah, the results that I'm seeing, it is getting there now. I had my doubts on whether it was going to work because my hair's quite fine and light. I didn't know whether it was going to work, but it has responded really well. Like, my body hair is sort of a mid-brown, I would say. It's definitely not blonde, like this is not a natural hair colour. On my face it's going to be a different story because it gets lightened by the sun. Obviously it's a lot thinner and finer, so I'll be interested to see how I get on with that. I'm more getting rid of it on my face because, say if I wear a lot of makeup or in like close photography and things, it tends to, you know, when you've got a bit more hair and it's a bit downy and then you can see the makeup sort of gets stuck in those bits of hair, or in close photography you can see all the hairs. So it's more for that, so I'll be interested to see how I get on with that. Then the next question that I had was about the pain and does it get more manageable? Can I feel it now? I would say the pain is like not an issue for me in the slightest now. It's a bit sore on bikini line and underarms, and again the shin area, but it's over so quickly. The whole treatment time takes me about half an hour. I'd say probably quicker, but I do faff about. I still put on a episode of something on Netflix and sit and just integrate it into my like Sunday night routine or Friday night routine or whatever it is, sort of as a bit of a pamper night, and I treat it like that so that I'm not dreading it. And to be fair, there's nothing to dread anyway. It's really not a bad part of my routine. It takes about half an hour. It's sort of flashes of heat, and I still structure it so that I'm doing, because the device heats up and I find that it's a little bit sorer when the device is hot, I do bikini area first and then underarms and then legs, in that order, so that it's going from most painful to least painful. And then that means that by the time the device is heated up, I'm already on to the sort of easier bits. And then on really hot days, sometimes I do get sort of halfway through one of my legs, or like do the first leg and then think, gosh, this is like, it does get really hot. So then I sometimes take the head off, turn it off, leave it to cool down for sort of 5-10 minutes, and then come back to it, and then it's a lot better. But yeah, the pain is honestly not an issue at all. I used to absolutely dread doing my epilation when I used to do that, and I just didn't do it, didn't keep on top of it, because the pain was just unreal. And I remember I would get like halfway up my lower leg and be like, right, I've got to stop there because it's too painful, and I could never even go near the thighs. Wouldn't even dream of doing bikini, and when I tried my underarms it made me nearly cry. So I would actually be like whimpering whilst doing it. It was pathetic. So comparing to that, this is miles better. If you've got any more questions, pop them down in the comment box below and I'll try to get back to you. I think I've covered everything there. Basically, I'm really impressed with it. I think the only downside to it would be the fact that you've got to look away / the fact that I'm too lazy to get glasses for it. Probably the cost of it, because initially it's a big cost to outlay. However, my dad has got this phrase which I have carried with me and use it to justify any spending, which is the quality remains long after the price is forgotten, and I feel like that is the case. Like it works. And also, if you compare it to a in-salon laser treatment, it is a fraction of the price. I think it's less than the price of one laser hair removal treatment. I'm interested to see how permanent this is, because I don't know if I'm going to have to keep up with it, and maybe every year I'll have to do another few weeks of weekly sessions. If I have to, I'm really not that bothered about it. As I say, it's not that bad. Or if I can have done this for 12 weeks once in my life and then it lasts forever and ever and ever, then that'll be even better, but that remains to be seen, definitely. But yeah, so I think I will leave that there. Thank you very much for watching this video. Let me know if you want another update video in sort of a year's time. And yeah, happy IPLing. Thanks, bye!